What's going on, guys? Aarava here. Welcome back to my Let's Talk F1. This is part of a year-long series where I get to talk about real-life Formula 1 over the course of a season, and this for the 2016 Formula 1 season. And this, as you can see, for the Red Bull Formula 1 team. I know I did say I wasn't going to do this video. I thought I would leave it till maybe the second test, but I thought, lots of you guys were commenting below that you wanted to see this video, and since it is Red Bull, one of the bigger teams in Formula 1, I thought I'd go ahead and make the video anyway. So the Red Bull RB12, a very, very evolutionary car from last year's car. If you look at it actually, just in general, it looks like pretty much like last year's car, and you'll be correct to say so. I mean, apart from the side pods, not a lot has changed. The front wing is very much the exact same one they had at Abu Dhabi. The rear wing is pretty much the same from Abu Dhabi. And the side pods, even they haven't changed too much. I mean, they slimmed down quite a lot, and in terms of aero details, the car really hasn't changed too much. Even Adrian Newey himself has said that the biggest factor for Red Bull this season, at least at the beginning of the season, will be that Renault engine, which is branded as a Tag Heuer engine, but it's still very much a Renault engine. And he said that, well, strapping on a load of downforce isn't going to actually help that car any much more. So I think Red Bull are probably going to hold off on all the huge aero parts till they get to about maybe Spain or Monaco. We've seen analysts say the same thing, that Red Bull usually like to keep their kind of party tricks and their party pieces away from the first few tests and the first races and bring them out around Spain, Monaco to really get the downforce where they need it. But in terms of the first test, Red Bull, very, very sleek car, but very much like last year's car. We go to a side shot here, though. You can see the side pods have slimmed down quite a lot. You got a really nice Coke bottle shape there. On the top of the side pod, you've got a very nice overhang undercut. I've tried to kind of contour line that overhang. Red Bull really like to undercut their side pods quite a lot, get a lot of space there for air to flow through and get attached to the side of the side pod. That's going to really help them out, and they have slimmed the side pods down a little bit from last year. If you compare pictures, especially overheads, which you'll see later on in the video, I actually put a screenshot on right now, you'll see that basically they've kind of really tried to just pinch in the rear a lot more, and they've really exaggerated that undercut on the actual on the top of the side pod compared to last year. Moving on to the underside of the Red Bull, you can see they've got this kind of winglet on the actual floor of the Red Bull car, very much reminiscent of the Brawn GP car from 2009. They kind of copy that sort of idea. Not many teams have actually done full-on winglets like this since 2009, but they have played around with having a few little veins here and there. But Red Bull going for a little kind of mini wing underneath the car to try and affect airflow. Of course, if you didn't know, a lot of the airflow is actually underneath these F1 cars. A lot of the downforce is actually created underneath the cars. It's all going on underneath, because through the nose, it goes underneath the turning vanes, goes to these floors and gets all transferred to the rear of the car eventually, where it hits the diffuser and the work starts there. As we move on to the rear of the car, that usual Mickey Mouse exhaust is there on the Red Bull with the two smaller wastegate pipes underneath the larger one. Obviously, very contrasting to actually the actual Works Renault team, who have not gone for a Mickey Mouse strategy. They've actually gone for only one wastegate on top of the main exhaust. So a little bit of a contrast there. Red Bull going for the normal one. I guess normal because most teams are doing it, but there's no sort of correct way about it. Just how the team's kind of preference on how to do that. But surprising that Renault themselves haven't gone with two, and the other teams that are using their own engines like Red Bull, Toro Rosso, have gone with a two-prong wastegate. So a little bit of a weird design choice there in terms of for Renault itself. I know not the team we're analysing, but interesting to note nonetheless. But really, guys, that is the end of the video, actually. Not too much to say else about Red Bull until we get to the second test and maybe into the season. I'm hoping that Red Bull maybe bring out one of their party tricks in the second test, or at least in the first few races, so we can talk about it. But as a whole, the Red Bull car, a very neat and tidy car, very much an evolution from last year. A few little details here and there, like the winglet underneath the car, and just a bit of a slimmer side pod with more undercut shape. But apart from that, Red Bull have really just gone for evolution, and hoping and fingers crossed that over the winter, Renault can actually, step up to the plate, because, the Red Bull, they've always kind of said, in PR, when they do interviews, that they have the strongest chassis, even better than Mercedes, and that really the Renault power is the only thing hindering them back from actually trying to go for this championship. So if it looks like they truly believe that, because they really haven't done too much of this car, actually, for the first test at least. But guys, nonetheless, if you have enjoyed that video, I know a lot of you guys wanted to see the Red Bull, so here you go, a little bit of a smaller Red Bull video just to satisfy your needs for that. So if you have enjoyed it, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below of the car. Obviously, let me know of the livery of course. I didn't even mention that. The livery has changed a bit. They've gone for a matte paint, so that's definitely pretty good for the sponsors who are going to get seen in sunlight. No shiny lick of paint there for the Red Bull. So let me know what you guys think, of your Red Bull fans out there, of the livery. But again, comment below what you thought. If you know how to, and do subscribe for more videos just like this. There'll actually be a very interesting video that you might be interested in later on today on this channel around 8 p.m. So look out for that. But nonetheless, I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today, and I'll see you guys next time.